Okay, cool. And now we can barely hear 6. Isn't that great?
It is really nice.
Is this a real life?
Is this just fantasy?
Caught in a landslide.
No escape from reality. What'd you just drop?
I'm dropping shit because I'm trying to move this over.
Your
don't
wallet
care.
fell. Now you have no money.
Damn it. I already didn't have any money.
Oh.
Damn it, this sucks just being right in the fucking whatever.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Subclass podcast for the first time ever featuring Jacob. What's your last name? I pulled him off the street, and if you could see his pupils right now, they're extremely dilated. I'm not sure he's actually functioning as a normal human right now. That's why he's the perfect subject for an interview. What direction do you believe that your life is going in right now?
Do you think I could drink that entire thing of water?
Yes, you probably could, but I need it for my mouth.
I could totally do it.
Me too. Do you want to do it for the vine?
No, it'll hurt my stomach. I could try, but I would probably just look like a little bitch. We have headphones today, guys, so that we can know what we sound like.
I'll sip a bit. But
and hopefully we don't have shit audio anymore like we did a few times in the past. Woohoo.
We get better every podcast here, and we slowly run out of material, so the time that we look and sound amazing will be the least funny ever.
Oh, I should also point out, because I know this will happen by the time this is up, if you're watching this on YouTube, this is actually a week late because our Patreon is already launched. Yep. If you're on Patreon viewing this, then congratulations. You are helping support us get new equipment. So yay, thanks so much. But if you're watching this on YouTube, and if you... that's fine if you're watching on YouTube. But if you want last week's podcast, go support us on Patreon on the $3 tier. All of the money that goes on that Patreon is 100% for equipment and bettering the stream. We literally set up our own little PayPal with it as well so that none of us pocket any of it.
It goes straight to Amazon.
Yep, it goes straight towards whatever the fuck we need. So we appreciate all the support there. And if you guys want... more stuff, go check out the Patreon. Yeah, we got some cool stuff over there. Oh, and everything in podcast form. Everything Sunder, Tesseract, Soulmarsh, Waterdeep, Strahd, everything.
Wouldn't it just be everything in audio form?
It's called podcast form, okay?
Is it really?
Well, all the breaks are edited out.
Is that... No, usually podcasts are supposed to be like a bit more candid.
Maybe. I don't know.
The terminology?
Okay, it's the audio versions of everything.
Okay, cool.
But they are... Hang on.
Also, thank you all for marveling at how tiny my head looks right now.
Yeah.
Don't know why that is.
We're looking real small today. We edit out all the breaks and the intros and all that, so it's just the cut audio from everything we've done.
That would be easier to edit if it's just audio.
And it's the cheapest here. It's only $1, and you get access to all of it, and you can download them too. So fucking whatever. We don't care. We know you guys want that, so we did it because it's really easy to do on Patreon. Because if we want to go put it on Spotify and all that kind of stuff,
I think that costs
we have
money
to pay for it, and there's all this stuff we have to go through, which is really, really difficult. And plus, there's tons of episodes. So, yeah.
What's the last non-consumable thing you bought?
What's the last what do you mean? Like not food?
Not food or drink or drugs. just adding that.
Just in case.
Yeah. That's a bit of a tough question.
I don't know. I mostly just buy food. As you can tell by my stature.
Robust.
Robust. Damn it, that just reminds me. I'm not this, but I love the terminology for it. I don't know why it's so funny. I love it when people are like, oh yeah, she's slim thick.
Oh,
like, slim thick is so funny. I don't know why. And not because it's like two opposite things, but it's just a really funny word just to be like, hey, you slim thick.
I really want just like, hey, you slim thick. And it's just like this chick who's like got a thick ass and she turns over and she's just two-dimensional and just vanishes.
She's just flat.
You're like, God damn.
God damn, she's slim thick.
Turn around, baby. Give me a show. And she's like, whoop, like Paper Mario.
Like Paper Mario. She just goes into the wall.
That's what a slim thick baby.
The last non-consumable thing I think I bought was do online goods count?
Yeah, actually, because I'll go with that
All
answer
right,
too.
so probably the starter pack for the Magic the Gathering
Oh
arena.
yeah,
Yeah.
You're liking that game? How's that going?
It's really fun, actually. I was skeptical about it, and then I realized it was free, and I was like, oh sweet. But then
Yes.
it wasn't free because I spent money on it.
I saw your tweet about it.
Yeah, the UI is so nice. I was just like playing around with it.
I downloaded it, and then right when it started up with like the "Welcome, adventurer, to a land," I'm like, I'll experience this later.
Yeah,
And I just back out.
Yeah.
Aside from the headphone splitter that was mandatory for today, I bought half of Dicey Dungeons,
Nice.
which is not okay. So there's like there was a sponsor, and a company is like, I think they're Dicey Dungeon, and then there's another company called Dice Dungeons, or like I don't know.
It's apparently a really easy thing to kind
It's
of add on there.
super easy to think of. It's
Yeah.
like the most that's that idea ever. But the game's pretty fun. It's like it's just one of those dungeon crawlers where you start out with like dice instead of any like abilities or something. You get little equipment that you can roll your dice on, and it's a lot of like chance, which makes sense because it's dice, but it's
Yeah.
also like really hard and fair at the same
That's
time.
cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's
I'm
neat.
getting the money's worth out of it.
That's cool. I think the thing before that was probably a League of Legends skin. And that was it. I don't remember past
Which one's
that.
you get?
Odyssey Kane.
Oh yeah, nice.
Because I like playing Kane.
Yeah, and he's got like a really cool interaction with it.
Yeah, the voice lines make that skin alone really fun. And in case you guys don't know, I'm just going to relay the entire history of this because we got time.
Okay.
So one day, we were like, let's play League of Legends. I don't know when we decided to do that, but one day we decided to do that.
It was so I started with our church group before anyone else, and that's kind of how I
right.
met
You
Colton.
started playing with Colton, right?
Our youth pastor was an Annie main. Like this is like God, it's like season 3 or something. This is
Eric?
like old, yeah, Eric.
That's cool.
So I would play with him and Colton, and I was like a top lane support, just because it was low elo and none of us knew how to play. But slowly it ramped up, and we started pulling other people in. And
That's right. You were like,
Grab
hey, you should
Jacob.
play this game. And I was like, okay. And I was like 15, 16. I don't even
don't remember.
remember. Maybe older. And we played it on and off for a while. Colton is really, really into it. And he was playing it a lot. And then there came a time after I graduated, we were, right? It was like after then. We'd been playing it for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, something
and
like
then, whatever reason, we started taking it way too seriously.
Oh, yeah.
We got really angry at each other.
it's because everyone started doing ranked,
Yeah,
and
well,
the game
not,
just
not
gets
even
harder
just
and less fun then.
yeah, but not even just ranked though. Like we would play draft,
Yeah,
and
no, you're
everybody
right.
would get super pissed off for like no reason, and it's like,
Well, it's one of those games where it's really easy to just like have your heart sink and then have a dick shoved in your ass as your heart is like down there, so it just pounds your heart and it breaks. You're just like,
I don't.
It's
wa-
easy for
I
it
don't,
to
okay,
happen.
I really don't want to be like
you're gonna,
high and
you're
mighty.
gonna flex on me right
No,
now
I'm
and say
not gonna
that
flex.
never happens.
No, it definitely happens. It just doesn't bother me that much. At least not anymore.
Yeah.
It did back in the day.
No, you gotta like learn how to meditate to avoid that shit.
Yeah, so we stopped playing it because we all realized, hey, this is really toxic for our friendship, and none of us are getting along. So we stopped playing it.
Because like half of us took it seriously, the other half didn't. So
Like, and it was bad
we
too.
had
It would
no
we would have
synergy.
like games where like we'd all get in, we're having a fun time, and by the end of the game, we were just all pissed off at each other, and we would just leave voice chat without saying anything, and we
Someone
would just be mad.
walked away with like clinical depression, and then one person just went silent for the next 2 days.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
it was bad. So we stopped playing it, and then like 2 years later, we Marissa was like, "Hey, who wants to play League
Yeah.
again?" And I was like, "Okay." I played like one, and then I stopped. And then apparently you two kept playing for some reason.
I honestly, she was doing. You're talking about the most recently, like
yeah,
we
like
started
most
up?
recent. Like I know we stopped for like a while, and then you two came back to it.
Yeah, she really liked Team Fight Tactics.
Oh, okay.
While it was out, that was in like beta, or it might have been alpha. But we were playing a little bit of that, and I honestly really like doing solo queues, just all fill.
Yeah.
Because I get random lanes, random people, and they're all around my skill level, so it's fun.
Yeah. And then during that 2-year period time, I think me, Colton, and Tyler, and Grace, who didn't play League, we all started playing Overwatch, though. It was right when Overwatch came out. I don't even remember when that was, but that's when we stopped playing League. It was like, fuck this game. We're going to play this game instead. And then we played that a ton. Holy shit. We played so much Overwatch.
Yeah.
And then that game, we kind of stopped playing.
Yeah,
Not because we got mad at each other, just because it just stopped getting fun.
Yeah. The community started being more League of Legends. We were like,
That wasn't the part that bothered me. What bothered me was they kept updating the fucking game every goddamn month.
Yeah.
And like, okay, we changed everything. And it's like, that is understandable for a game like League, where like, it's kind of there's like fucking 150 characters. And like, if we changed Graves' passive to do this thing instead, it's like, okay, cool. Well, if you don't play Graves, then it's not a big deal. And if he shows up in a game, then the game's a little different. But in fucking Overwatch, they're like, we changed Tracer's ability. This didn't actually, I don't know. We changed Tracer's like main ability. It's like, anybody can pick her, and now it's completely different. The game is totally different now, and they kept doing that every month until it's like it's not even the same game anymore.
No.
And
It's
so
like,
we would stop playing for a few weeks because we would get busy, and then we'd come back to the game and be like, how does any of this work?
It's like, you know that champion that you used to like?
Yeah.
Everyone knows how to counter him now. And you know that guy that used to be kind of hard for you to deal with? They gave him 2 more buffs.
I was so good at Hanzo, and then they changed him, I was like, I'm shit at him now.
I was good at Genji, and then everyone else realized that you can fight Genji and win.
Yeah.
And then I started losing.
And then around the time I stopped playing Overwatch was the time that the channel took off. So, wow, this has actually been more time than I thought it was.
And the reason that I think you had a big issue with Overwatch, and the same reason that I did, is because TF2 rarely ever revamped their champs. They gave you like optional abilities, but they managed to perfectly balance that game. That's one of the only games where like you can go in and say that any one of the champions is like overpowered.
Yeah,
because they're not.
Yeah, well, here's the thing though, and I think there is a theory behind that, and where League of Legends has a ton of champions, right?
Yeah.
Overwatch has like 30, 40, I don't know. And I don't know how many there is now. And then TF2 had 9. But they had customizable weapons that did little different things.
Yeah.
So it's like League in the aspect of like, okay, well, we changed this flamethrower to do this little thing. And so there's a very slim chance.
You can do like runes and stuff in the same way, League of Legends.
But yeah, but they don't constantly change all the runes all the time.
Yeah, no, they don't.
So like
they've revamped it.
It would be like if in League they were like, okay, there's 4 lanes now. It's like the game is different now.
Yeah.
Like, but in League, that doesn't happen. And in TF2, if they updated a flamethrower for the pyro, it was like, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a little thing on a flamethrower.
It's like, a cool new thing that I can try.
And then they'll be like, Hanzo can double jump and his scatter arrow isn't a thing anymore. And it's like,
or
all right.
we changed this person's auto attack into their ultimate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fucking Orisa has 300 more health now. And it's like, well, now everybody's playing.
Extra legs. We gave her more.
We gave her more. And now it's like the game's impossible because you can't kill Orisa. And anybody can pick her. So fucking whatever. So while Overwatch is super, super fun and I love it and it's great. What?
Why didn't you just click and zoom us in so I wouldn't have to crop?
Because it's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
It's not that big of a deal. You just do it in post. Who cares?
It's just funny that I'm realizing now we could have just done it.
It's fine.
Whatever.
Anyways.
So we have it zoomed out to fix like the white balance and stuff so the visual doesn't look like shit and we don't look like ghosts.
Yeah.
But we're super cropped, so we're like tiny and in the corner for us.
Which I guess we could do in post, but I didn't. I keep freaking. Yeah. What's up, guys?
Pop filter.
Anyways, pop filter. It sounds so much worse for me.
Yeah.
I try to get it right here, and I'm like, "What's up, guys? How's it going?" Sorry. Anyways,
my penis is borderline prepubescent. Some would say.
Yours too.
Yes.
But so is mine.
You know, it's not just microscopic. Some would say it's relatable to a penta or picometer.
What's up, guys? It's the ASMR episode today.
Where we try and add as many P's as we can, but we're not very clever, so we don't do a good job.
Hope you guys are having a good day today. You can hear Logan's throat as he swallows.
I did a very bad job of for this today, and my mouth is very dry. Let me take a sip of water. That was very delicious. And now my dick is wet. Hey, I got my dick wet. Hell
Nice,
yeah.
dude. Nice. Nice. Yeah.
Not a virgin anymore, you fucking losers.
That was a good bit.
Thanks. Thank you.
That was good for the show, man.
Yeah, I have no shame, and I'm pretty much going to do anything for comedic relief. So just
Nice.
Throwing that out there,
That's
yeah.
awesome. That was good.
that was for you guys. Oh yeah, for the people who are listening to this in actual podcast form, I just completely emptied out my glass of water and spilled half of it on my everything.
You got your dick wet.
I
Nice.
did. Got my dick wet.
So, anyways, fuck Overwatch.
Yeah.
No, I want to finish the story though.
Okay, sorry.
So we came back to League. No, you're fine. We came back to League after I found out Marissa and Logan had just been ghost playing it for a while.
Okay, so there's this thing that happens when we all team up or when any two of us get together. We don't work well, like subconsciously.
It's totally understandable. I totally get why you didn't want to.
Yeah,
I'm not roasting you for that.
I like pumping out like a couple shitty solo games in my free time without having to try and organize for 30 minutes to get one other person to play with, if that makes sense. To those of you watching.
I get it.
Wow, my hand just grew 5 times that day.
Dude, when you said that fucking Grinch thing last night, that killed me.
I wasn't thinking. It was so funny.
Okay,
I said it, and I was holding back so much laughter, and no one said anything. So I was just like, that was a really shitty
We
joke.
finished the game, and I think we did we win?
We got destroyed.
That's right,
It was so sad how bad we did.
And Logan just said, it was just silence. We were playing League, and we all got killed, and it was just silence over Discord, and all he just said, and the Grinch's butthole grew 3 times that day. I don't know why. It was probably the timing. I kept laughing for like 5 minutes. It was
too.
so funny.
I was so ashamed because no one did anything. And then you like caught your breath after that first win. And I was like, okay, good. And then we just couldn't stop.
Oh, man. Anyways, you guys started playing League again. And then eventually Colton found out. And he was like, wing! And then I was like, yeah, I'll play because I like playing with my friends.
Yeah.
And so one thing I want to say is you guys can kind of hear Six in the background
Yeah,
there.
he
He is
popped up a
trapped
couple
because
times.
he will destroy the setup. So
Yeah, he really likes moving cords.
Yep.
And with this split headphone thing, Jacob's headset has like super thin cords. And
he'll
it's just
destroy-
floating and
he
dangling
fucked up
actively.
your finger, right?
Oh, yeah. This morning, I tried to pick up his little feather toy. You can't fucking see it, maybe. But I tried to pick it up to, like, play with him a bit. But I had to grab it near the base because he was sitting on it. And as I pulled it up, he just shoved his claw straight into my finger as I was pulling it up. And he was like, this belongs to me. Because I think he was trying to go for the feather, but he just hit my hand. So I pulled away, and it was just like, oh, that's a lot of blood. And pressure helps wounds, my guys.
Sure does. Mm-hmm. That's why you like wrap up a.
But yeah,
wound.
he will absolutely split that cord in half in an instant.
Anyways, now we play League of Legends again, and it's been really fun because, first of all, I think I see the game in a different light than I used
too.
to. And it literally just has to do with the fact that I'm not a whiny kid anymore.
It's extremely casual, and I think we understand kind of the gravity of games now.
I don't get mad at it.
Yeah, like as a kid, you're like, this matters so much to me, and I don't know why. But now we're like, is it just we wasted an hour? I'm not sad.
It's like whatever.
It's whatever.
Did I have fun playing the game? Yeah. I had fun killing minions and hanging out and shooting stuff, and if we lost it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, or even if it did bad, it's like we always have the next one.
Yeah, and oh my god, it's the amount of times I've now looked at the chat, and I just remember back when I was playing in the past, and like somebody will put something in chat like, fucking, if I'm playing like jungle, and it's like, this jungle is shit, he's never coming top. And I'll just, and when I was young, like when we used to play, I used to be like, and I like think about that so much, and now I'm like, okay, and I just keep playing.
I just try to be really intuitive. And, like, I play support a lot, and usually right now, the attack damage carry, the person that is at the bottom lane that you're supporting and helping them to get kills and stuff, just does terrible. So I don't feel bad anymore because I'm like, you know what? If I followed them, we both would have been dead.
Yep.
So I think I made the right choice.
Exactly. So you know what? The end of the day, to learn your lesson from Jacob and Logan is don't get mad at video games and you'll have more fun.
That's
right?
pretty fair, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. At least I am. Sorry, I keep breathing into the mic.
Okay. So this is just going to be shitty video game recanting.
Probably. Okay, hey guys.
So what I was going to say before you rudely interrupted me.
I had to change my mic.
Okay.
I did it that fast.
I'm going to wait so that you good?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, go.
Okay. It's Minecraft story time.
Oh, no.
So I was adventuring, and I had a lot of my very important things, and I had just built like an ender portal from my base to like a warm ocean that had a bunch of coral in it and like tropical fish that were super cool.
Nice.
And I made a man-made lake that I was filling with those fish, and I ran over there with like 8 buckets full of water and a bunch of like all my diamond shit. And then a creeper, so it like started turning night, and then I was running along like a sandy area. I know, it's crazy. Sorry. So I'm on the beach, right?
Oh, shit.
I'm on the beach.
Okay.
And the sun sets, and I realize what's about to happen. I realize that they're coming for me.
Uh-huh.
And I see under a tree nearby that wasn't there before is a skeleton. And I turn to run toward the ocean because their arrows don't work. And I see another skeleton. So I back away, and I back further, just nearing the other edge of this beach.
Okay.
I'm about to enter the water, and an arrow flies. My shield didn't go up in time.
No.
And then another arrow flies, and I managed to block that one.
Uh-huh.
But I'm not quite in the water yet, so I'm backing away from them. And I'm going to be safe from these arrows. And then I hear something.
What?
Shit! So I cry, and I scream, and I break my keyboard, and my hands start shaking, and there's spaghetti everywhere. So I run back. I go into creative mode because it was super important to me that I go back. And the fucking chunk didn't load!
Wait, what?
All my shit was gone.
It didn't load? It realized you cheated. It was like,
Nope. I'm sorry, no.
I'm sorry, you can't have this. Did you
Yeah.
want this? Fuck you.
All those things that mattered to you,
They're gone now.
they're gone now.
Goodbye. Bitch. You wanted to fly. Fuck you.
Also, I have a question.
Yep.
Because you know how the way that the game loads is that there are chunks around you. Mm-hmm. And if it's night, monsters spawn within a certain distance of you, and they despawn when you leave that area.
Uh-huh.
So, from a villager's perspective, their life is perfectly serene and safe until you're in the vicinity.
They're like, oh, fuck,
You
there's
bring monsters with you.
No! I mean, they have to feel like the player is a monster they just can't deal with because...
You just run around, take all their shit,
You just
burn
take
their
all
house,
their shit, burn
and
their
then
house,
sell
take
them a
all
bunch
their
of stuff.
hay, and just go, bye, bitch.
Yeah.
And you just leave, and they're like, please take the monsters with you. Thank you.
They're just like, I just saw you take all my wheat,
Even the Iron
and now you're
Golem...
trying to sell it to me? Sure.
Yeah, you can...
Sure. Just take my money, just leave, please. Please. No, you're setting up camp right there. No.
When Spencer and I were playing a few months ago, we came across a sand village, and we were like, oh, cool. And then I broke one of the sand blocks, and it was on top of a ravine.
Wait, are the buildings just floating above the ravine?
The buildings are floating.
That's awesome.
And everybody who was on the sand just... And Spencer also fell and died. And then 8 villagers also died. I was like, oh, fuck! When somebody were just like hanging out, just like, yeah, this is great. I'm going to break this block. Oh, shit!
This is the terror of sinkholes.
It was sinkholes. They were just chilling, and we came over and fucked it up, and they were like, no. Doesn't Nasus sound like the
He goes, haw.
He could be a villager.
Yeah, he goes, haw. Just NASA's having a conversation with a Minecraft villager ASMR. So you start. Was that too good? I want to start over. I want this to happen.
So sensual. Oh, fuck, I can't. Oh, okay, I can do this. Ha.
Ha. I forgot.
That first one, you were just like,
I was like, sexual villager.
sexual villager ASMR. Yeah, and then in the background, it's just.
I forgot. What's the noise where it picks it up? It's like that, isn't it?
It's like the.
Yeah, no, it's.
That is really loud.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, you can. Yeah, you're right. Where the fuck were we headed?
I don't know where we were going with that.
Oh, man. Oh, Marissa is in Vegas right now.
Nice.
And every single time that anyone ever says Vegas, I'm pretty sure you, me, Marissa, and everyone else are like, oh, New Vegas. I love that place.
Yeah, I love New Vegas.
It's a loss.
Wait, it's Las. Oh, yeah, it's Las.
What does loss even mean? It's like the. Is it just the desert? What's Vegas mean?
I don't know. We're
It's
really
the
white.
Vegas. Yeah.
I know LA is the Angels.
Oh, yeah.
It's Los Angeles. Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. We're going to look that up now.
All right.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't mean anything, but if it does,
Vegas?
that would be pretty dope.
Yeah. I'm sure it might be like a Navajo thing. That's probably not regional. I got that wrong. I don't know Native Americans. Sometimes I still assume that they have a different cultural name.
It means the meadows.
Well, they're wrong. There are no meadows there.
Yes. A vega is a meadow.
Oh,
a
that's
fertile lowland. So it means the meadows.
Huh.
Which is very interesting.
It might have been built around like an oasis or something.
You guys
I'm sure it would
now
have to be.
probably know how dumb we are, so...
I don't know my states or my months. Sometimes I get left and right confused. Sometimes my brain just stops.
Do you get starboard and port mixed up? I always remember that one.
Am I going to flex on you how dumb I am?
No,
Because I don't know either of those.
Oh, fuck, you don't? That's the ones on a boat.
Is it the left and right?
Yeah,
Or is it front?
left is-
No, front and back is like bow and
If you're facing
Some port.
the bow, which is the front,
yeah, I know that.
port is the left, starboard is the right.
What's the back called?
The butt.
Really?
No, I
No.
don't fucking know. The
It's like port.
port,
it's like
starboard,
something
bow,
port.
and
Is it just port? I don't know. I'm not a boat man, but she is.
Somebody clipped that.
I'm not a boat man.
I ain't a boat man.
Nah, I ain't a boat man.
I ain't a boat man.
I am a boat.
I'm not a boat.
She's out there in New Vegas with
In Las Vegas.
No, New Vegas
Oh,
with
New
her
Vegas.
parents and her cousin. And her cousin originally couldn't go. This was like a week of hearing this. So she was like, "Hey, do you want to go to New Vegas?" And I was like, "Sure, I guess," because I don't know how to garner any enthusiasm. That's just a part of me that I don't have. So I don't know how to be excited for things. But she was like, "Yeah, well, if my cousin can't
that's
go."
pretty cool.
Yeah, thanks. But last minute, like the day before, they were just like, "Oh no, she said she can go. Can you watch our house and water our plants and feed our dog?"
Can you just fucking do all that?
Yeah, I'm not against it because it's my girlfriend. It's not too hard, and I get to do laundry. But it's just like, oh,
Did you want
okay.
to come? Never mind. Take care of our shit while we're gone. Bye.
So yesterday it was I'm going to have 4 days in Vegas next week, and then today it's I get to feed a dog that hates me for 4 days.
Nice. That's pretty great.
Yeah, the dog is like blind, deaf, and dumb now.
Oh.
He's so old, so he barks a lot at me if he like recognizes me, but he can see like maybe that far, and then it's just blurry. and his hearing is terrible. Yeah, he's like,
fucking.
I think his smelling is still good. So if you're like, he's like,
You fart in his vicinity, he knows, and he gets mad at you.
But it's really threatening because it's like the laundry room and then the garage where his food is and where he is. I go into the laundry room and just open the door. He is there in the doorway, sleeping, and I'm like, no. So I have to step over him, and he's so old that he just gets up and he's like, someone there? And I like am loudly pouring food in the darkness, like hiding from him. It's like. It's like a sentry that just has a blindfold. He's like, I'm looking for somebody.
and you're just like, oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh God, please.
Shit. I gotta throw him off my trail. He just goes and attacks a fart.
Goes full feral and like tears my leg off from farting.
Perfect. Okay, so you went on a little lake journey.
A river
I
journey.
fought the internet. So that's what we can talk about, right?
Yeah, I told my little story, so you can go first.
You told wait what?
I'm talking about dogs and Marissa and shit.
Oh.
So yeah.
So I decided to square up with everyone on the internet, and
Yeah, we both made mistakes on the internet.
we both
So what was your
you
mistake?
threw trash and I talked to trash.
Ooh. All right. So start from the beginning. with
Okay,
yours.
so where do we start with it? Okay, so we
That was weird.
yes. Where are we gonna? All right. So,
Hey guys, welcome to the Inconsistent Podcast, where you can't quite hear.
Hey guys, welcome to the We Move the Fucking Mic podcast, where
we put the fan on an we put the microphone on an oscillating fan, so sometimes you can hear us and sometimes you can't.
mine's on a sprinkler. So sometimes
If you
can
put it
hear
on
me.
a sprinkler, it's just going to be. Yeah. Man, we're not being
Anyways.
nice to the mics
sorry.
or to the.
Anyways, here's how I'm gonna tell my story. So sorry.
Oof.
Everybody's just sick now.
Yeah,
They're
they're
like,
just
fuck
like-
this podcast. And it, they're just, please, can you get on with it?
Go back to the jokes or tell your story. Just
Stop.
Just stop.
Stop it.
Stop doing this.
Stop. All right. So I made a video a while ago. So actually, I
A
should
while-
start it from
yeah.
the very, very, very beginning. One time I was playing Dungeons and Dragons,
You were
and
born.
Marshall was there. One day I was born, and then one day I was playing D&D,
Okay.
and Marshall was there. And I was saying, you know what, Marshall? I believe that the fighter is definitely easier than the monk. No, I was saying rogue was easier than fighter. And he was saying, in my opinion, monk is the easiest class. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Marshall said that first?
Marshall said monk is the easiest class. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And he said, look, man, as a fighter, it's really, really easy. The concept behind a fighter is easy. But think about it from the perspective of a DM and a new player. A monk has to manage no equipment. They don't need to go through the player's handbook and buy equipment.
They don't have to. They have automatic AC
all
too.
of the monk's abilities are passives, and they are pre-generated into the character,
Mm-hmm.
and the DM can just manage them. Meanwhile, a fighter has to go through and get, I want to be an archer, so I have to understand, I have to get the bow, I have to get the arrow, I have
need to be
I have to
familiar
add the
with all the
plus
tools
two,
they're using,
and then
yeah.
they have to manage that while they're playing. And I was like, you were totally right. And then also, I think fighters are probably easier than rogues, because rogues also kind of have to learn everything a fighter does and then go,
Yeah.
okay, now you have to manage sneak attack, which is a difficult ability
That's pretty
for
fair.
newer players.
Yeah. There's also a lot of passives that you have to be conscious about.
Yep.
With like evasion, stuff like that. There's a lot of things.
A lot of little things.
Yeah.
But the monk's abilities are all passive. You can literally hand a monk character sheet to a new player and just be like, there, that's it. With a fighter character, they'll be like, okay, why do I get this? Why do I have this? Why
Yeah.
do I have this? Why do I have this? Now, a monk may be like, what's strength for? You can kind of just sit there and be like, it doesn't matter. So, anyways, that's my belief. Don't argue about it in the comments. Jesus Christ. I made a video. I didn't convey that point very well.
No.
I don't think I did. And I know I didn't, because the reception from the video was, oh my God. It was just everybody saying, nope, you're wrong, and here's why. And if you go to that video now, there are tons of comments that are just tearing me to shreds.
I really like just the occasional comment on, I think, my items video, or the cantrip one, where it's just like, wow, you're a really uncreative person, and I would hate to play D&D with you.
Yeah.
It's just stuff like that. It's like, okay.
Spooky. A lot of people are like, yeah, okay, Monk is easier if your players are idiots. And also, by that logic, the fighter should also be easy. And it's like, okay, so I think where the big argument is coming from is from the fact that it sounds really good on paper. I think on paper, a fighter is easier than a monk in concepts, both ways.
Okay.
You get less stuff. All you do is fight. You don't have to manage anything else. Meanwhile, the monk has to know what ki is, and they have to understand abilities. But if you actually play it, it's different. I talked about that in my newest video in How to Play Monk, where I was like, look, guys, I know I didn't make this argument clear here. I'm just going to say I think monk is still easiest because... First of all, I have experience with it, and apparently a bunch of other people in the comments had experience with this too, and I'm just wrong, so
Jacob,
fucking whatever.
Apparently, it's not as easy as you would think.
Oh, yeah?
Because you forgot one of their abilities.
Oh, yeah? Which one?
I believe it was wholeness of body.
The 18th, 19th level ability that I just didn't want to go over because I was already fucking done with the class.
Okay.
I literally skipped it. I don't care.
That's fine.
Oh, no, you can spend 4 ki to go invisible. Whoa. I was literally...
No, the astral projection part is really fucking dope.
Yeah, cool.
Like, realistically,
they don't fucking age, and you can't be diseased or poisoned, and you understand every language. Fucking, what else can they do? Astral projection? Cool. They're also gods. I don't care.
You do rarely ever get to use astral projection unless it's like part of the main quest storyline.
That would be cool if that was like the 10th level ability instead of goddamn not being able to be poisoned.
Yeah.
That's a cool 19th level ability, I think, where it's like, now the monk has the perfect body and that doesn't affect them. Nope. No. Instead, it's more of like an afterthought at the end of like, you can turn invisible.
That's fair. Honestly, like 18th and 20th level abilities are just there to look cool.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to get them.
That's why I meme them, because they don't matter. It doesn't matter.
They honestly don't. Like, I'm not saying that they're bad and that, like, it's not cool to have them. It's just... I really want to have them, but realistically, there's almost no campaign you can have them in unless you're designing a player character stat block major antagonist.
Yeah. And
because those are like villain abilities.
Exactly. But even then, when they give you the stat blocks for like a monk, if you want to just use like a stat block for like a character sheet, they don't give you half of those abilities. And it's like, oh, okay, they can even stunning strike. They can't do shit. And it's just because they want the players to be awesome. But anyways, I explained that in the video about how I think monk is easiest, and I had talked about how I had played with kids before. I did, when I worked at the charter school, I did that after-school D&D thing, and I would give players pre-gen characters, and every kid that had a goddamn monk was just like, oh, I understand the game. And I was weird. The fighter characters also got it too. Granted, I probably have skewed data, as not many kids wanted to play fighters.
Of course, yeah.
But... at the same time,
at least
there were other people playing, and if there was a monk playing, it was like, you already understand how all this works. And he's like, yeah, this character is easy, and I'm like, you're like 10, and they were getting the concept of the game like that, and I was like, wow, this is true. Okay, awesome. I'm gonna talk about this again because nobody seems to agree with me, and then all the comments are just like, well, actually, I also DM'd for kids, and they have an easier time playing fighter. And it's like, okay, well, I'm never going to win. And, oh my God, the amount of comments of people... I tweeted about this, and you guys get to hear about it now because I'm angry.
I'm kind of out of the loop, so I'm just here for the ride.
Cool, great. You just get to listen to me being angry, too.
I see, like, chunks of it, but I'm like, oh, Jacob angry again.
So a lot of people in the comments were saying, like, I was dancing around my point...
Yeah, I did see that.
I was vague about what I was saying, and then I just say that I'm right. So, basically, what most people, what I assume, were trying to understand, because they're trying to understand their point of view, is that they were saying, like, I say, the monk is the easiest class. Why is the monk the easiest class? Well, because of this, and because I think so. There, I'm right. Which, okay. You can say that.
Yeah, I think the problem that they have is the fact that you have a perspective and like you've drawn a conclusion from your perspective.
Yeah.
And then you try to like back it up just by adding additional details from your perspective instead of like concrete evidence,
Yeah,
which I guess is kind of subjective.
The
so
problem is that it doesn't
yeah.
matter. You don't
It
have to
doesn't.
think the monk is the easiest class. That's fine. I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just saying it. I'm just kind of being like, hey, you know, maybe try this sometime.
Sorry.
Extra loud.
Hello, it me.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Fuck, where was I going? I don't care what you think. It really doesn't bother me.
Now he's off his rhythm.
I know. Now we've thrown him off his rhythm. If you don't think the monk is easy, that's fine. The part that bothers me is when everybody listens to me say that, and then they take it so personally for some reason, as if they've been thinking that the monk is the hardest class ever in years. And they go into the comments and they just go, all right, here's your argument. Fuck you, you're wrong. And it's like, what's the point behind that? I'm going to look at it and go, okay, and like keep going. Like, I'm not going to change my mind.
Who would you say is the toughest class?
The hardest?
Yeah.
Mystic.
No, I'm not counting Mystic.
Okay, not counting Mystic.
Or Artificer. Artifici. Alfredo.
Druid.
I was going to say either Druid or Cleric.
Druid and Cleric, probably.
Because Cleric have a lot of concentration spells.
Nope,
like
Druid
almost
for one
exclusively.
reason. Fucking wild shape.
Yeah. But if you have like 2 or 3 defaults, then you don't have to be Beast Boy. You're just the Druid that turns into a bear and a fox, and that's it.
You can make... Okay, then I guess I would have to go back on that.
If you min-max a Druid, you can get it pretty easy.
Probably Cleric
Not
then.
min-max.
Because... You can play a Druid easy. It's just like whatever. You can just kind of... I turn into bears and
You
I
can
play.
make it easy, but
Yeah.
it's something that you can customize and make better.
I would have to probably say then that Cleric is difficult because not only are your players going to be like, oh, pick healing spells, but you're going to be like, I have all these other spells and they're all really good. Should I pick them all? And it's like, yep. And also you have Channel Divinity. And also your Channel Divinity with your domain has a special ability.
And they're super like situational too.
Wait, why
so
do
you
I
have
have
to be-
Burning Hands? Oh, it's because you are a light cleric. And it's
Yeah.
like, there's so much.
And it's like this spell is always prepared. And this one is also always prepared because it's a ritual, but I don't have it prepared, so I can't cast it unless I do it as a ritual. It's like jumbling all the tedious specifics of spells.
I would also almost say Wizard too, but they're not that difficult because they...
No, because that was one of my first thoughts too. Is like Wizard should be hard, but not really.
They don't have preparing at level 1. They can
really.
learn new spells if they want to.
I'd say as you progress, it does get to be a bit more difficult. But the fact that
by
you
that
have
point,
so
you already understand the game.
many spell slots,
And that's my whole point with the whole fucking monk is really easy is because by the time they're level 3 and they get to the hard part, which is the martial arts bit, they already know the game already.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I'd say that's kind of an interesting perspective, as that's one of the things that you're drawing your conclusion from, is not how is it easy as a whole, but it's like what's the easiest to start at level 1 and then learn as you progress.
That's what I say in my video.
Yeah, I would say that from that perspective, coming from that angle, teaching someone from the ground up, Monk is probably one of the best ones.
Yeah, because if you imagine we have somebody who's never played D&D, pick like your mom, like somebody who cares, they've never played before, and
Let's go with my mom.
if you go fighter and you give her a fighter, you're gonna have to be like, okay, there's weapons and armor.
She
Which
wouldn't
ones
want
do you
those.
want? No, exactly.
Because she's my mom.
That's true. Okay, don't take it that literally.
She would pick cleric.
Because she can worship Jesus.
Yeah, she can worship Jesus.
Got it. Nice.
My mom
We
is
failed.
the most fanatical Christian in the world.
Anyways, to illustrate my point here, it's your no, goddamn it,
My grandma.
Not your grandma. Your
Let's say my military cousin, Alan.
or your sister. Just doesn't understand
yeah.
shit. Just doesn't know anything about it.
We're just looking at my whole family.
Look,
No,
but
I
here's
get
my
it. I get
point
it.
though.
Let's
If
go.
you hand her a fighter, you're gonna have to be like, okay, do you want leather armor? What's leather armor? Oh,
It's like, what are my other options?
It gives you bonus to armor class. Oh, okay, so you get a bonus to armor class. But if
It's
you're
like,
you're
well,
a
how
monk,
do-
it's like here's level 1 monk. You have
It's like-
unarmored movement and
Well, how do I get a better armor class? Well, you can pick like big armor, but if you pick big armor, there's negatives if you have these specific abilities, and they're like, can I just have the big armor?
or you can just give them the pre-gen whatever and just be
Yeah.
like, you have this. And I guess that works the same way, but it's by default, monks go, here's your weapon, here's your armor class. Done.
Yeah. I think what makes it easy in the beginning is the fact that it's not customizable at all in the beginning.
Right.
There's like no decisions you ever have to
like,
make.
there.
Yeah.
Done.
That makes a lot of sense. Just that specifically is that, like, for other classes, you have to pick spells and spell slots. You have to pick, like, what kind of tools you're using. You have to pick if you're going to be ranged or melee.
Yep.
Monks are like, you get this and only this, and later you can pick 2 cool things.
Yeah.
And then they just level up.
You
and they
don't get an option for anything until
like
level
nothing.
3, and then you get to pick your way, and that's it.
And then the way doesn't have, it has like maybe 2 of them have 1 variable option.
Yeah. And then, and what I say in my original video is like, that's how people learn how to play things. And I compare it to Risk. I'm like, if you play Risk and you've ever played it before, you don't win the first game. You instead learn from your mistakes, and then eventually you start getting better by understanding how the game works. So the same way is for D&D. If you hand a fighter to a brand new player, they'll have an easy time because fighters are easy. But I think fucking D&D nerds have this preconceived notion that goes back decades that fighter is the most boring, easiest class in the world, and a baby could play it, which is just not true.
I would love to build like 10 or 6 or 10 human fighters and just make them absolutely diverse.
You can
it would be so
that.
easy. Yeah.
It is difficult to kind of make a monk diverse unless it's the later levels. Because
it really is.
All of the abilities, all those awesome, super epic abilities, every monk is going to get. Like, every monk's going to get to climb walls. Every monk is going to catch arrows.
Yeah, it's like...
But fighter, it's like, I'm making a battle master sniper character that can disarm you with his crossbows.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's cool. Or I'm going to make a heavy hitter, great sword who can reroll damage on dice, and also I have the great weapon master.
Or I'm going to have like 2 shields and a dagger and just roll with that
like,
shit.
Fighters are so diverse, and if a brand new player comes to the game and it's like, here's all the diversity, it's like, they get overwhelmed. But if you give them a monk, they're just like, there, done. That's it. That's all you have to worry about. Anyways, that's my rant over. Unless you have more to add.
I think that's good. That's it.
That's pretty good. Sorry, guys, that this is the Jacob rant week. I'm done talking about it now. I think I've made my point 800 times. And I'm sick of arguing about it. So if you seriously want to fight about it in the comments, I won't stop you. But please don't. It's hurting me.
And I will tell you my story.
Yeah, let's hear your story. Let's do it
now. So I, for a video for a little bit. Oh yeah, sorry, I teleported. You good?
Dude, I thought we talked about using your Larry powers. You gotta stop.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Kind of fucks up our day a little bit.
I know. It's like...
Is it 2019 still?
Check. Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, continue.
It's like every time I do it, there's a bit of like him bleeding out. I don't want that transition to finish, but like it's just the most convenient thing ever.
I know. He did like kind of kickstart your channel though, so... First video.
Okay, so for filming, I went over to this dam, and it's a dam that we have in the area, and I didn't know that there was going to be like a bunch of water around it. So at first we did filming at a park across the river from the dam, and then we drove all the way around, like across a bridge into a neighborhood I used to live at just to get to the dam to do different filming. That was quite the trek.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah,
well, I wasn't there for that. I came and filmed. So, in case you guys didn't already notice, we film at the same time. If Logan's got a video and I have a video, we're like, let's just get up and film all of them.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, why are they in their same videos? Why aren't they just on the same channel? And it's like, you're a dum dum. Anyways,
it's called a collaboration.
It's called a collab, and we're still friends.
We just do it. We just collab often because we're the only people who live near each other that have any semblance of acting.
And also, we've known each other for like 800 years.
Yeah, it's been too long.
Yep. Anyways.
Get out of my house. So I lugged a chest with a little bottle of vodka over there just for 2 little gags, and that was exhausting. But I found, like, what are those...
God, why did you do that? It was so hot. I was already
really
exhausted when we got there. I was like, fuck this, dude. And you're just like, I'm going to do more.
Yeah. What are those, like, the shit that they advertise at Six Flags? Those nasty little, like, spicy candies that are good once every 6 months? Like taquitos. It's not taquitos.
I don't know.
They're like little twisted tortilla things.
Takis?
Takis. I found an opened, like, old bag of that just right next to the water. So I picked it up, and I was like, okay, so for this bit, I have her up there, and then she's going to come down and pan the camera down and see me, and I'm going to be like, I found trash. But she realized as we were filming that the name of our hometown is graffitied on that ledge of the dam. So it took her like a solid minute to actually come over the ledge. So in the video, you hear in the distance as she's coming around, I'm like, where the fuck are you? And then she finally pans down and she's like, what'd you find? I'm like, I found trash. And then I see the chest. I'm just like, oh. So I put the trash that was already there that we found, but it's still like, I have learned once you interact with trash, it belongs to you.
It's more like because you didn't throw it away, it's fucked up.
Yeah. Well, but like if you see trash there and you don't touch it, that's not your problem. It's not your business. But if you mess with it, it's like, okay, now it's your property because no one else wants it and you fucked around with it.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So I threw it and it landed in the river, which wasn't cool at all. So I went back and filled the trash bag with a bunch of shit. And there's some interesting stuff out there.
Just find like some corpses.
I found a lot of discarded clothing.
Oh God!
That may or may not have belonged to several murder victims.
I know.
It's people just getting naked in the river.
I was
and
gonna
then
say they're
moving.
fucking. Yeah.
They're either fucking or like they don't want to wear their little kitty Crocs, so they put them.
You find a shirt and it just has a hole in it, and you're like, oh God,
it's bloodstained.
Bloodstained. The fuck.
Oh,
dude, remember that time we went to the Oak Reserve and we found like bones?
Oh yeah,
that was crazy.
There was a lot of bones.
That was crazy.
But shit, I found like swim trunks that had a bunch of little tiny like bite holes in them, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I couldn't get it into the trash bag, and it was very uncomfortable. I had to like palm these old swim trunks into the bag. It's very unsanitary. I don't advise touching any trash without gloves ever. Ooh. But like I had to park all the way down there because the park that I brought shorts so I could just wade across the river because it's not that deep, so I could like get all the trash on that end. And the park was closed, so I had to drive all the way back to the neighborhood and walk all the way down to the river and then all the way up the river back to the dam, which is a solid mile.
Yeah.
So I had to trek back once my bag was full, and it was really, really hot. So I was like, why don't I mosey into the middle of the river and just walk through it all the way up?
You're long enough.
I am, yeah. So it only like hit my balls at one point.
That would be like my chest.
Yeah, Jacob's chest is at my balls.
It'd be like my chin.
Yeah, definitely.
Like right where my chin is. There's no reason why I know that.
No, yeah. It's just...
I just know that that's where my chin is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
I was walking through the river, and it's kind of super really cool like ecosystem, because there's like different little plants on the sides as the water kind of flows really deep and slow, and then on the sides there's like the little banks, and then when it gets faster, there's like this huge underground slab of rock that I forgot about. That's like halfway through the trek in the river because there's like two little inlets in the river that people like walk down in or whatever. So I had to get to the next one. It was a long stretch, and I crossed over this rock that rises pretty high for the water level. So the rock was covered in slime and moss.
Uh-oh.
And the water was going faster because it was spread thinner.
Yeah.
That was treacherous, and I was holding a bag of garbage with both hands because it was beginning to tear. That was very uncomfortable, but I survived.
Nice.
With a bag of dirty old trash
you went
and
on
beer.
A little adventure.
I did.
And you learned something.
I found... So I'll jump back to the story where it's really stupid, and I was younger. I was out at the river just kind of exploring as a kid, and I came... The area that we went to, there was literally, I just stumbled across it, a burned entire car. Just an entire car was burned off, like, the side of the river. This was, I don't think there was water in the river at this time of year. So it was
Wait,
like
it was in the river?
No, it was off to like a little bend that you can drive through.
Oh.
When the river's empty. So yeah,
okay,
it would have been empty. And I came walking back like, what the fuck happened there? And there was a policeman across this little, like, there's a creek that flows, it splits off at that dam that I was talking about, and then it goes down. So I walked along the creek where there's more shade, and that's how you got back to my old neighborhood. And I went over there, and there's this shitty little, like, sunken bridge, and the policeman had parked his car right there. And he asked me, he was like, hey, kid, do you know how to get, because he had apparently learned about that car. Yeah. He was trying to get to it. He was like, do you know how to get over there in a car so I can, like, actually go and investigate? And I was like, yeah, you can go back this way. I pointed across the dingy little creek bridge that I had just walked across and was like, yes, officer, drive your car across this. That's the only way. I don't know any others.
It's just like, fuck. Thanks.
But there is still like half of a molten car just twisted and burned.
It's still there?
No, not the full car, but like the full bumper is off just in the distance. I recorded a bit with like this huge metal slab.
That's crazy.
There's like the radiator, the hubcap that's just out there. It's just shit.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
That's
kind of
fucking
fucked up.
awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
While you were going on a little journey, I was raging on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think you won. I think you had the better time.
I benefited the world.
And
yeah. Took trash, and Jacob shielded fire with fire. So that's always fun.
The risk I took was calculated, but damn, am I bad at math.
Which is really weird because we're dungeon masters for a living, and we're both terrible at math.
Oops. Oopsies. Oh my God, we're almost at an hour.
I think. Oh yeah, you're right.
We took a
we cut maybe like 5 minutes.
Okay, so we have 4 minutes to come up with a random thing.
Okay, let's go with a monster.
Oh, let's do today. Okay, the monster has to be somebody who's angry, and it has to take place by a river.
Angry and by a river.
Yep.
Okay. Is it aquatic, semi-aquatic, or does it dwell like overworld?
Yes, it dwells in the river.
Okay. We will make it a giant waterfowl.
What's a waterfowl?
Geese, ducks.
Oh, like a giant goddamn duck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Giant duck.
Geese are angrier.
Okay. So we'll make it a giant goose, like a Canadian goose.
Let's make it a chimera, like half goose, half something else.
Okay. Another creature that's native to the water.
Frog goose.
Okay.
It's a jumping flying goose with a long tongue.
And like four ripped ass goose legs.
Yep.
Like the back ones are just crazy, and they're like grasshopper legs, so they like arch up.
Oh God, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so what's its head look like? What's its face?
We need Mario Sack to draw this.
Oh man.
Its face.
We'll give it just the basic 2 wings, just a normal set of wings. Yep. A little big for its size.
The sound it makes is it goes. That's the sound it makes.
Okay, so it has a long tongue that can lash out, definitely. So it's like,
yeah, but it goes.
It does both. It goes,
and then sometimes it honks and it goes.
It goes.
It's a pig too.
Yeah, no, that's kind of like what some toads make. They're like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
A little bit. this giant gargantuan goose frog goes. That's when it's about to attack. Normally it's like, but if it's about to attack, it like lurches forward slowly like an alligator and goes.
There we go. Yeah, that's what it does. I like the noise. The first it goes. That's a good noise.
Does it have one head or two? Because like they have very different heads. A frog is like big and wide and attached to the torso. That's like half the body.
No, it's got one head.
Okay, but does it have like a gooseneck?
Yeah, it's like a gooseneck that goes down to like a slimy frog body with the wings and like the arched legs, and it lives in the. Oh my God! Okay, so there is it's an adventure. A cart has gone missing near the river. Okay, it got burned, and when the players come across it. They'll come across the cart first, and they have to try to find the people who were killed in it, possibly.
Okay.
And a guard comes by and says, "Hey, I need to get over there with my cart, and the only other way is across the bridge that is rickety and old, and you can get it across it, but that's when the frog goose attacks."
That's when you hear coming bubbling from out of the water.
And the guard goes, "Oh God,
oh fuck!" Yeah. You hear like a, and you're like, it's nearby. It's near.
No! Oh God, it's eating me!
But
tell my family I love them.
I want to picture its head. Does it have like a beak, or does it have like a huge, wide, like frog face?
No, it has a beak.
Okay, so it's like a beak and then 2 bulbous frog eyes that give it like full 360 perspective.
Oh God! And then its beak opens and it's just a tongue.
So its wings are like kind of slimy. so they blend into the water. They look kind of like sheets of like moss.
Yeah.
So it submerges its body and leaves its wings out so it can fly, and its two bulbous eyes are just floating.
Ugh, that's so gross.
And its tongue like goes all the way back. There's
Nice.
like a little coil in its belly and just goes.
All right, there's your encounter, guys. There's your random encounter based on our podcast today. And the frog goose will target monks.
Yeah, it has a special loathing for anything.
It hates ki.
It hates ki.
Its chakra is so disaligned.
It just if you're nearing unlocking any of your chakras, it's gonna go after
gonna
you
be like,
first. Yeah, it's like
What is that? A line
I
chakras?
smell a chakra.
I smell chakras.
Give me your chakras.
Well, that was stupid.
That was dumb. Yeah. Have a good day, guys, and
Yeah.
thanks for listening. And if you're supporting us on Patreon, thanks so much. And if not, it's cool. It's all good. Thanks
We're
for
gonna
watching, anyways.
record some shit for video now.
Yeah, we are gonna go do a lot of stuff. So
Cool beans. That's the end of the podcast.
Huh.